You know, like I always say this, like when in doubt, siding with the billion-dollar companies probably the more cringe take.
The thing is, Pokemon, I think it's kind of just it's kind of hard to still be passionate about it over the years, low key, because of how the company has treated Pokemon itself, like the restrictions they kind of give it, like you know, I think you might have heard about the Switch 2 and how they're dealing with that. Not only that, like the fight between Pokemon and Power World. So like, it's just more so. It's just like, I don't know. Touching Pokemon, just you gotta really have the nostalgia for it. But it's like for me personally, I like Pokemon, but at the same time, it's just like it's giving a pass for like incompetent work at the same time. Like for example, Scarlet and Violet. For me, I personally felt like that was just like an incomplete mess of a game. And people are like, oh, it's okay to love a game that's like not the best in terms of graphic. I'm like, it's not the best in terms of a lot of things. I'm like, I don't know why we're accepting incompetent games. Like, it's okay.
So I think I actually like Scarlet and Violet for what it for like other things, but I didn't get a lot of like the performance issues. I think the big problem is you're allowed to like, I think Scarlet and Violet. I think there's like enjoyable things, but I think the problem is like when people are just like glazing the company and it's like, no, we can still like, I don't know, it's so Twitter where it's like you're allowed to criticize things that you love. In fact, I think you should be critical of things that you love. It means you actually care about it and like want it to do better. But for some reason that's got misconstrued to where like, how could you make fun of this thing that I like? You know, it's like, bro, I want it to be better. You know, I love my girlfriend. I want her to be better as a person. I love myself. I want to be better as a person. You know, that should just be like a thing. That should just be a thing. But I think people are just so sensitive and weird. That's where like the whole issues with the Pokemon company come in. I really have like no strong stance because I just think it's like a huge rabbit hole of all this information that I frankly don't find myself caring enough to look into. I think there's more pressing problems in the world. I mean, I think like anything involving like workers' comp and like the treatment of employees is obviously very important from a humanitarian stance. But like in terms of like the Switch 2, I've seen so many takes about like, no, it's actually justified this price. I've seen people talk about it's the economy. I've seen so many people saying like it's like bull crap, and I just like it's so overwhelming to where I'm like, I don't even care to throw my hat into this ring because I just think there's like a wealth of answers, and I'm like I think in order to have a reliance, or in order to side with truth, you have to accept sometimes that you don't know.
Yeah,
you know, and
I agree
I think that's an issue where I'm like, bruh, I don't know. I'm gonna buy it because it's my job. The one cool thing about capitalism, because I think there's a lot wrong with it, but like you can vote with your dollar, you know. So if you don't like it, just don't freaking buy it.
Exactly.
You know, like go on with your day.
Kind of like the way you said, oh, well, I didn't have as much problems. Then again, I did emulate it. It's just like, low key, that's why you didn't have so many problems, though. Meanwhile,
what was that?
You're like, I didn't have any problems, but then again, I did emulate it.
Yeah, no, and I admit that bias too. I admit that bias. Like, I do think like the graphical stuff and like bugs in that game are pretty. It does like take you out of that immersion, but like I'm not running it on like Switch hardware. I'm running it on like a tower that was built, you know. So it's like I obviously didn't have much slowdown, or I mean, popping was still abysmal, but like. I didn't have those issues, and those are issues for people, especially if you had like a Switch 1, right? Like I think like the OLED played it better, but like the original, it's like at a certain point it lags too much to where you can't even enjoy it, you know?
Like for someone who had the Switch 1, it crashed my game 3 times, like where it's like data cannot be read. I was like, how can you not read a chip? I'm like, how can you not read a chip? This ain't no disc. Like, so I was just like, I was getting so frustrated with the game. I was just like, and like, you know, there was all those frame rate issues and whatnot. I was just like, dang, this game really cost $60. Like, so I was just like, bruh, like it was just like, I was like, and people are really glazing this game, but I was like, you can still enjoy the game. You can still enjoy it. I had no problem with people enjoying the game, but I was just like, my take is just like, I don't understand how y'all could really be like, this game is perfect, though. That was the only beef. I was like, y'all really saying this game is perfect is crazy, because like.
Nah, I think the critics are more valid in terms of like discussing about than the people that are just like blindly latch on to it. I just think it's like, it's unhealthy. Like we should want these companies to be better. You know, like I always say this, like when in doubt, siding with the billion-dollar companies probably the more cringe take. like that's just the bottom line, bro. Like it's just cringe. It's just cringe, dog. Like stop. You don't owe them anything.
I was just like, you giving your money willingly. I'm like, that's insane.